Hi, it's Madeline Tandry of DIY Salvation, YouTube's home to the resolution of the mind, also known as TROM. Thanks for joining us today. The following is an updated edition of our video on how advanced level TROM handles inner conflicts and past overwhelms. If you missed the previous video, Time Breaking, The Illusion of Time Explained, which covers the earlier levels of TROM, have no worries. We bring you up to speed in the first few minutes of the video. Now on with the show.
The universe is not designed to be a trap, but you can still entrap yourself into unresolved conflicts, upsets over the past, and the guilt and anger one feels over what one has done to others and what one has suffered at another's hands. Today, we're going to focus on the theory and exercises necessary to learn and perform in the advanced levels of TROM that free you of such burdens. The mind is a series of bookmarks in the past of data and events considered important. The importance of these events is assigned either voluntarily or by enforcement. Eventually, past upsets catch up to one and can overwhelm one in the present, much against one's own will. TROM exercises have you compare the past to the present by bringing the past into the present, which not only breaks the illusion of time, but also reduces the importance of the past so it no longer has a troubling influence on you. One needs to be firmly grounded in the present in order to do this. You learn how on level 1 with a simple exercise of placing mental creations around you. Level 2 starts you viewing objects and people from the past side by side with objects in the present and comparing the two. For example, comparing a knife in an incident where one was threatened to a knife in the present can prove helpful in relieving one's involuntary aversion to knives. Once one can comfortably view objects and people from the past side by side with objects in the present, he moves on to level 3, viewing past incidents simultaneously with his present environment, further discharging the power one's past has over his present. Now that one has completed level 3, it's time to address the very structure of the conflicts and overwhelms that led to the upset by doing levels 4 and 5. Let's start with some basic terminology. A postulate is an intention. You could also say it's a goal or a purpose.
I'm going to have that member of the opposite sex. People are going to read the novel I just wrote. I'm going to forget this ever happened. No one must ever find out what I did.
Postulate is a $5 word that actually has a very simple meaning, but many misunderstand it at first. Dennis discovered there are 4 basic postulates: to know, to not know, to be known, to not be known. All postulates contain an element of one or more of those basic ones. When you communicate, you want to know and be known to the other, and the other wants to know you and be known to you. When one creates something like a piece of artwork and he wants others to see it, he postulates that work to be known. He wants others to know it. When one is hiding, he postulates to not be known. In the case of games like hide and seek, we apply the terms win and lose. But in the case of more serious games, we use the terms overt and motivator. We call games like hide and seek voluntary games, but the more serious ones we call compulsive games. The police officer trying to catch the criminal must know that criminal, and the criminal must not be known to the cop. The one avoiding the summons must not know that summons or the summons server, and the summons server must be known to the person being served, and the document he has to serve must be known as well. Imagine a child catching a frog. He brings it home to mother, and she screams. He hides the frog in his hands. Then his father comes along and asks what's in his hands. This sequence of postulates changing one to another is not only how the game of life is structured, but also how the conflicts in the mind accumulate, whether the subject matter is court documents, works of art, or weapons of mass destruction. When one overwhelms you with the postulate that they or something must be known and forces you into the must-know postulate, they commit the overt by forcing you to know, and you receive a motivator by being forced to know. But let's say someone tries to make something known to you and you successfully avoid knowing it. That is your overt and their motivator. On TROM level 4, you stimulate the mind by getting the idea of each type of overwhelm, one after another, and thus bring forth sensations, emotions, and events to be time-broken and therefore resolved in the mind. This is much like level 3, except instead of choosing what events you wish to time break, you are now using a systematic method of forcing them into your mind. This relieves the burden of whatever misdeeds you've committed in the past and those that have been committed against you. Confess your sins to a minister and ask for forgiveness if your religion requires it, but with TROM therapy, you can confess them to yourself and only yourself if that is your preference. Level 4 handles overwhelms. But before the overwhelm occurs, there is a conflict. All of us have had many different conflicts in our lives, and many of these conflicts were never truly resolved and can still play out in your mind. Anyone who has found themselves arguing with someone in their head or has regrets over a past event knows this. While you would prefer to leave some things in the past, your mind says otherwise. These leftover conflicts from the past are the business of level 5. When you are forced to know, there is the opponent's postulate of must be known and also your postulate, the one your opponent forced you to take on of must know. You get the idea that your opponent is aiming a must be known postulate at you. Then you get the idea that you must know. You are stimulating your mind with the postulate overwhelm like you did in level 4, but now you are taking both sides into account. And just like in level 4, you time break whatever shows up. The incident where the process server forced you to receive the summons, for example, and other such incidents may appear during the course of this exercise. You time break such so they will trouble you no more, and you continue doing this exercise with both postulates until you are comfortable doing this and nothing shows up for you to time break. Now put the postulate of must be known in an object near you, and you will resist it with the postulate of must not know. Now the time just before you receive the summons and you're trying to avoid the process server and other such incidents of someone trying to show you something and you resisting seeing it may also show. Do you see what we're doing here? You start with a pair of postulates where you were overwhelmed. Then you address times where you were resisting such overwhelm. In Dennis Stevens' book, all of the possible postulate overwhelms as well as the conflicts in between are put on a chart in the order you need to run them in TROM therapy. If you take away anything from this video, it should be that there are conflicts that occur in real life. Those conflicts are stored in the mind, still affecting the way you think and act in the present, and there is a way to understand the anatomy and sequence of such conflicts and techniques for resolving them in your mind. We are DIY Salvation. Don't just use your mind, resolve it.